It is no understatement to say how big of a negative impact pornography, lust, and masturbation can have on us, thus also affecting society as a whole. The Bible is also very clear about lust as well. However, the scary thing that I see is that many of these addictions start innocently. So today I want to bring awareness to this, really for two main reasons. Number one, minors are very susceptible to this, and two, it can help some people who are already addicted trying to quit, but more on that later. Let's first start off by identifying what am I even talking about, because precursors to an addiction could be very broad and on a very large scale. I don't want to limit it down too much, however, because some things trigger some people and some other things trigger other people. So let me just give two main examples and look at why these things are such temptations, and then give biblical solutions and analysis to these problems. So my first precursor, which has been basically around for about a decade now, is Instagram. Now let me just state right now that having an Instagram account in itself isn't a sin, and also doesn't mean that you will immediately be addicted to pornography the second you download the app. But that doesn't mean that there may not be some pitfalls that people commonly fall into. The biggest pitfall on Instagram is what I like to call the lust cesspit. Now, for those who don't know what a cesspit is, it's basically just a hole full of liquid, waste, and overall just toxic garbage. That's what I believe Instagram has a major problem with when related to lust. Instagram knows who you are, not just your name and what you decide to post on your account, but they know what you like to consume, they track what you watch, and they also know what things people that are like you in correlation to gender, age, and race also like to watch too, so that they can push you content that you're more likely to enjoy, which overall makes them want to stay on their platform longer. That being said, if you are anyone, but specifically a male ages like 12 to like 25, you will be pushed very sexualized content. Why? Maybe you personally aren't looking up Instagram models, but I bet there are a lot of people your age following them. Instagram knows that people, especially young men, crave sex. They want you on their platform, so they are going to serve you that content that might keep you hooked. Now, if we go back to our 2 points I made earlier, let's relate them to this. Number one, minors are highly susceptible. Of course, you can make the argument that most social media apps are 13 plus for a reason, and kids shouldn't be on them, but that isn't realistic, like, let's be honest. We all know kids under the age of 13 on these apps, and them being targeted sexualized content is honestly scary. The biggest issue, especially with minors, is they hardly know what's right from wrong. So even if they want to do the right thing, falling into sexual temptation may not even cross their mind. Number two, it can help some people who are already addicted trying to quit. What do I mean it can help? Having the knowledge of how social media tracks and pushes tempting content in an attempt to try and hook you is very helpful. Why? Because Matthew 5:29 through 30 states, "If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell." Simply by cutting off whatever you need to in order to avoid sin is biblical. Another way of putting it is, if you notice yourself being tempted to view other harder core content when you are simply just scrolling through Instagram, then that is a sign that you just need to delete the app. I don't care what your justification is, it just isn't worth it. So overall, whoever you are, Instagram and other social medias may be fine on the surface, but there are some dark spots to be aware of. And maybe you personally aren't being affected by the temptation they serve, but maybe someone else in your life is. So now that we've covered what I believe is the biggest gateway into a porn addiction, which is through Instagram, what I could do is do the same thing for every social media platform. Here's the thing, all of the same issues will come up, and the ways of dealing with those things are the same as well. So just to summarize everything, check yourself. If you know what you're watching isn't good for you, then cut it out. It's that simple. That goes for YouTube, Netflix, Snapchat, Twitter, or X, everything. But now that we've covered a more personal temptation, let's cover a more social one. And this one is people. As the saying goes, you will become like your 5 closest friends, and as cliche as it is, that doesn't dilute any truth from it. Proverbs 27:17 states, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." So ask yourself, do you have friends that are encouraging you to watch things you shouldn't? Or do you have friends friends encouraging you to read your Bible. Honestly, there really isn't too much to say to this point other than reflect on yourself, and if you don't have fellow God-honoring friends, then make an effort to find some. Youth groups, Bible studies, and church in general can be great places to find people for you to stay sharp. Long story short, however, is just because things are accessible doesn't mean that they have to be used. Think carefully about the decisions you make, since you may not know how large of an impact that they could have on you in the long term. Check out another video of mine on your screen right now.